Hi and welcome to another gaming video on my gaming section of my YouTube channel. And today's video is a bit of a sad video. It's just to say that I've kind of fallen out of love with the PlayStation Vita. I've had mine for 8-9 months. It is a fantastic console. It's a very powerful portable console. It might be 10 years old, but it still has some serious oomph in it. It was a huge improvement over the PSP. It added 2 analog sticks for a start, but the processing power is fantastic. But it fell into Sony's usual trap. It was highly priced, game selection isn't huge. It does have some fantastic games, but there's also some huge omissions there, like there's no GTA for the Vita. It had 2 analog sticks, which was a huge improvement over the one on the PSP, but it still had just 2 shoulder buttons instead of 2 shoulder buttons and 2 triggers. Price, like I said, it's a pricey console. Even now it costs a fortune. Game prices at the minute are absolutely extortionate, so if you were to get into it now and you want to sort of build a game collection, it would cost you a lot of money. Then we have the issues with the memory cards. Sony insisted on using their own kind of memory card. I've got a 16 gig memory card in mine. Anything higher than that and it costs you an absolute fortune. And there were so many things that just didn't go right for the Vita, and it really hampered the interest from the public, especially when you've got things like the DS. I mean, the DS or the 3DS is nowhere near as powerful as the Vita, but it was cheaper. There's a massive selection of games for the DS, and then with the 3DS you can also play the DS games. The DSi and the 3DS take standard memory cards, so the Vita really kind of fell into a niche of sort of die-hard Sony fans, and the general public didn't take to it. There are a lot of people that are huge fans of it, and I actually do like it as a console. It's superb, but for someone with limited funds or someone who is just looking for a general kind of games console and not a collector's item, the Vita really struggles. I love it. The screen is beautiful, the controls are fantastic, the graphics on the games are absolutely stunning, but you can't get past the fact that it's expensive. The games are expensive. I like to buy games, I like to buy second-hand games, don't like to pay a lot of money, and you can get a lot of the same games on the Vita that are available on the 3DS, but on the 3DS they're a quarter, if not less, than the price. And since I've had my 3DS for the last few weeks, I mean, I've always been a DS fan, but then I picked up a 3DS. It's become my go-to console. Absolutely love it. And my Vita has been sitting on the shelf, really not being used, and I feel a little bit guilty because I was a huge fan of the Vita when I got it. But I've moved to the 3DS. It does everything I need. I paid about £20 for my 3DS. You'd be struggling to get a Vita game for that price. And I've built my game collection slowly for my 3DS. And games are like £2 or £3 a piece. It's a huge different ball game. So I do love my Vita. I still have my Vita. Not sure for how much longer because it's sitting on the shelf gathering dust. It's worth a pretty penny, and it just seems a bit of a waste when my go-to console is my 3DS. So there you go. That's the reason I've fallen out of love with it. There are people that are die-hard Sony fans or just not fans of sort of the games you get on the 3DS. And yes, you do get different styles because of the fact that the Vita is more powerful. You get totally different games on there. You get things like Uncharted on there, which you'd never get on a 3DS because it's not powerful enough. The Wipeout series, which is a PlayStation exclusive, is absolutely amazing on the Vita. The graphics are absolutely stunning, but then you do get the other side where if you buy a Nintendo, you get all the Nintendo games. So it's part and parcel as to what kind of games fit you, as to whether you're going to fall into a category. I like the games that you get on the Vita. I like the games you get on the 3DS. In an ideal world, both would be fantastic, but I just find that the Vita is too expensive. If it needs repairing, parts for cost a fortune. So there you go. That's a lot of the reasons I've fallen out with my Vita. Games are expensive, the console's expensive, accessories are expensive. I think the key word here is just expensive, and the store is now about to be shut. Sony haven't shown it any love for a long time. They kind of realised that it wasn't kind of going anywhere and just shut it off. They've already, well, they said they were going to shut the store off once and then they kept it open, but that's not going to be forever. So hey, I do like my Vita, but I really have sort of fallen out of love with it, seen it for what it is, kind of high-priced collector's portable games console. I've kind of moved back over to Nintendo where I started. So that's my rant about the Vita, why I'm not a huge fan of it anymore. Drop a comment, let me know what your thoughts are. Link, like, subscribe, enjoy.